So when CZ announced the competition-ready version of the P-10-F, they really set an expectation. The problem is that that expectation is different for different people. First off, what kind of competition? IDPA, USPSA, Steel Challenge? And even then, you have different divisions and subcategories. You get the idea. It's a subjective term. But suffice to say that I was certainly interested, and I said pretty please to CZ USA to see if I could get a sample to test and review. The great folks in Kansas City came through as usual, and I thank them very much. Usually when I'm testing a competition-ready or competition-worthy handgun, I'll run it in a match of some sort, IDPA or Steel Challenge, to get some footage of, actual use in competition. That helps tell the story of the gun. But I'm so rusty that I thought that rather than you having to watch me shuffle through the stages with my walker and the SO using a calendar as a timer, I'd ask someone I know who is a legitimate champion competitor to run the gun for an entire match. That way, he does what he does best, and I do, well, whatever it is I do. After all,
man's got to know his limitations.
So during this video, you'll see some clips of the gun being run by a friend of mine named James Cantrell, who is like a bazillion category master in IDPA, and he just recently took 5th place in the nation in his first trip to IDPA Nationals. Congratulations, James. Another friend and extremely good shooter who spends most of his time on the USPSA stages, Billy Sargent, took it for a spin through one of the stages, and I grabbed a little bit of footage of him too. I'll give you their feedback as well as mine in a bit, but first, let's just get to know this gun a little bit. So with an MSRP just a whisker under $1,000, you may want to know what you're getting for that money. Apex parts were custom made for the competition-ready version of the P-10-F that include the trigger system, extended slide release, extended magazine release, even the custom gold backplate is from Apex. I estimate that these upgrades amount to about $250 worth of the gun's price. Then you have a longer barrel. It's a 5-inch instead of 4.5. It makes a better match gun by adding bullet stabilization and a longer sight radius. To top it off nicely, CZ coats the barrel with a matching gold titanium nitride finish and sits the three 19-round magazines on top of aluminum coordinated shoes, like any well-dressed competition gun should have. And then, of course, there is the optics-ready slide. And maybe we can throw in the bling factor. Does all that balance the scale for you? Well, that's an individual decision. I can't tell you if this gun does or does not have value for you. I can only try to give you as much information as possible to help you decide.
If you're finished, unload and show clear. I am down so many
If
points.
finished, unload and show clear. If clear, slide forward, trigger, holster. If finished.
Okay, here's some feedback from my competition shooters. The top comment was that the extended slide release is awesome for releasing the slide, but both shooters found themselves resting their thumbs on it like a 1911 safety and preventing the slide from locking back. That puts extra time on the clock in a match, and it wasn't really appreciated. The trigger is nice. It's very smooth, very crisp, with just the right amount of take-up and a good firm wall so that you can prep it. Of course, they'd like it to be a little bit lighter, but they are trigger divas. I have to confess, though, I wouldn't mind seeing about a pound shaved off of it either. Being able to run the trigger fast without extra force is important for blazing speed accuracy, or so I'm told. Everyone, including me, loves the extended magazine release. You just don't even have to shift your grip at all, even with smaller hands, to hit that disconnect button. Comments were favorable about the magwell being generous, and of course, the nice ergonomics of the gun, with the exception that it does have a Glock-like grip angle, and that took some adjustment for the shooters. But to give James and Billy and the gun proper credit, neither of them had touched one prior to shooting it in the match, not even a single warm-up shot or a single sight-in shot. James ran it for the entire match. Oh, and he won the match. Just for fun, try 25 yards with some Fiocchi. I do have a heads up about holsters I do want to give you. My good friends at Multi-Holsters rushed me a holster for it. All of us thinking that the P-10-F mold would be just fine and do the trick. But that extra ½ inch of barrel length and the much larger slide release levers prevent 100% coverage of the trigger guard. Then to make it worse, I got the holster with a body side sweat guard, and that interfered with the optic and kept the gun a bit further out still. So the moral of the story is, let me be your guinea pig, and be sure you specify competition ready when you order a holster, and make sure your holster maker has that on their list. I'm sure Multi-Holsters will have it covered in no time at all, and I do love their holsters. Oh, and this shirt that I'm wearing with this awesome gun bunny design was created by Billy Sargent's lovely and talented daughter, Faith, and they're available for sale. I'll put a link down in the description where you could get your very own shirt just like it in several different colors, just in case you're interested in supporting a young and talented Second Amendment enthusiast. So, whether or not this gun is really competition ready, as I said, is subjective. But if you're looking to compete in stock or production divisions, then it's definitely one to look at. A holster and mag pouch is all you'll really need to be match ready. As far as problems like the slide release, I can't replicate that because my grip doesn't put my thumb into the contact with the control. But it is a legitimate concern for orangutans. I mean, you guys with crazy long thumbs. The good news is that if that's the only problem, it's a drop-in part change to solve it. And if you want to play with the trigger springs or do some light polishing, you could probably take a pound out of that trigger.
Okay, I'm going to get old-fashioned for a bit. 12 yards down range is the orange dot that I like to shoot at so much. Well, not that exact same one because they get holes in them and I have to replace them, but one's just like it. This gun is fresh from having shot a match. I haven't shot it since. That was a week ago, so I'm a little cold, but I'm going to go ahead and shoot cold because, you know, just keeping it real. One thing I did want to mention, you know, the size of this gun, because they don't talk about the height in the spec, but man, look at it. Look at all that height. I mean, I don't have giant hands, but man, I could just about wrap two hands around this thing. Okay, so I am using the Hollow Sun as a single dot, not as a circle dot. And I'm just going to see what I can do with some Herder's target ammo. Like many triggers do sometimes, this trigger feels much better than its weight indicates. Notice how I didn't even flinch when that yellow jacket landed on me? That's how bad I am. All right, that was 10 rounds, and I think they all went where they were supposed to go. Okay, I'm certainly happy with the Herder's target ammo performance. Now I'm going to try, and I don't believe I have tried yet through this gun, my match ammo. This is the stuff that I make myself, 124 grain over tight group, about 4 grains of tight group, give or take. Give or take. You know. All right, same. Target Medic has cleaned up the target. That might have been me. All right, so there's 10 of those, and I think, might not be as pretty a group, but they all found their home except for that first one, and I think I kind of threw that one wild. I felt that one get away. But good to see that it will run my competition ammo the way I would like it to. So if I were to shoot this gun in a match, I could be pretty confident in its performance. And also, as I said, that's a 124 grain bullet sitting on top of about 4 grains, maybe 4.1 of tight group. So It's on the light end, but not super light. I don't flirt with not qualifying because of my ammo, so I try to leave myself a nice healthy cushion there with power floor, but I certainly do try and keep it on the lighter side because it's competition load. So it's good to know that the gun runs just fine with that kind of ammo.
James suggested adding a thumb safety and lightening the trigger. That makes sense, but then why not just go to a CZ hammer gun? I like this gun. I like it a lot. It came to me as a loaner for review, but I think I'm going to return a check instead of the gun to CZ. So tell me what you think you'd like to see it compared to in a head-to-head, and if I can do it, I will. I think I shot this gun better offhand than I did from a rest, actually, even though it was different ammo, and I had made changes to the reticle on the Holosun, and the distance was not quite the same, and yada yada. But I shot it well. It's a shooter, even in my hands. Thanks, as always, to my Patreon patron supporters. Thanks to you for watching. Don't forget to smush the like button and help me out. And if you don't subscribe, please do. I'd love to have you on board. See you next time.